and gentlemen, thank you for joining Business Roundtable's briefing on the results of its 2009 flu season survey. At this time, all telephone participants are in a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question-and-answer session where you will be given the opportunity to ask questions about the 2009 flu season survey. If you should require assistance during the call, please press star then 0. Today's conference is being recorded. I will now turn things over to our host, John Castellani, President, Business Roundtable.
Thank you, Brenda. Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. As Brenda said, I am John Castellani, President of Business Roundtable. Business Roundtable is an association of chief executive officers of the nation's leading companies. Collectively, we represent more than 10 million employees and more than $5 trillion in annual revenues, which is about one-third of the U.S. economy. I'm joined today by Michael Dan, who is Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer of the Brinks Company and Chair of Business Roundtable's Partnership for Disaster Response. Also joining us is Bridger McGaw, Acting Assistant Secretary for the Private Sector at the Department of Homeland Security. Business Roundtable launched the Partnership for Disaster Response in the wake of the Asian tsunami in early 2005. Companies contributed generously to the relief effort, donating cash, products, services, and expertise. But Business Roundtable CEOs saw a need to better coordinate and structure how the private sector works with relief agencies and governments to ensure a more efficient response to catastrophic disasters. The Partnership for Disaster Response works closely with the American Red Cross, international relief agencies, and the federal government to understand on-the-ground needs after a disaster strikes and then match those needs with companies' resources beyond cash. The program has been very successful in streamlining the business response to Hurricane Katrina, last year's earthquake in China, the California wildfires, and other disasters. Today we're announcing the results of the Partnership's 2009 flu season survey, which provides insights on how our member companies are preparing for the H1N1 influenza and the upcoming flu season, and the potential effects on employees, customers, and business operations. We asked our member companies 5 key questions regarding their flu preparation efforts, communications to employees, and the top concerns for the federal government. I'm now going to turn things over to Michael, who will discuss the survey in more detail, as well as highlight the key findings. Michael?
Thanks, John. Following the outbreak of the H1N1 influenza in April, the Business Roundtable's Partnership for Disaster Response has been working closely with the federal government to ensure that the business community has the latest information and tools to prepare for what the CDC has predicted to be a difficult flu season. As part of this collaboration, we've conducted a survey of our member companies, which provides a snapshot of the private sector's level of preparedness and top concerns for the federal government as we approach the start of the season. What we found is the U.S. companies are taking preparation areas very serious. 95% of the Business Roundtable member companies that responded have business continuity and crisis plans in place that specifically address flu-related issues. 89% of those companies either activated or updated the flu plans since April of 2009 because of the H1N1 influenza outbreak. This is extremely impressive and shows the companies are on top of the situation. As part of our company's preparation efforts, we also learned they are being aggressive in communicating with their employees. They are sending a steady flow of flu-related information to their employees and educating them about prevention, playing a major role as an information source. They are being proactive in providing their workforce about sick leave policies, hygiene guidelines, travel restrictions, working remotely, and prevention measures that can help protect them and their families. Companies are also being creative, using a variety of channels to communicate, including the intranet, email, and training modules to ensure that their employees are well informed. We also see that companies want to do more and want to know more. What's clear is the business community is hungry for the most up-to-date information and is relying on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Health Organization, and Health and Human Services as trusted sources. We also asked companies about their concerns related to flu season and H1N1 influenza and what they want the government to address. They told us they want to have more information and more clarity on the H1N1 vaccine, definitions of severity as they relate to the flu, and the government's plans if the flu becomes more severe. According to the survey, 2/3 of the member companies said that their number one concern is the H1N1 influenza vaccine. They have many questions about when the vaccine will be available, which populations will have priority, as well as the cost and the company's role in distributions. 35% of the respondents expressed a basic need for and more clarity on the severity of the H1N1 outbreak as compared to the seasonal flu. They question the relevance of the WHO phases of pandemic alert, which are based on how far the disease has spread rather than its toll in terms of illness and number of deaths. Companies want to know how the alert system should influence decisions about their business and employees at the local level. Finally, companies want to know what the government's response will be should the flu become more severe. Specifically, companies are concerned about what to do in the event of business and school closures, travel restrictions, and quarantines. The top-line findings discussed today are a reminder of how it is incumbent on the business community to work together with the government and other key parties to protect the health and well-being of our employees, fellow citizens, and communities in which we live and work. And now, I'll turn it over to Brinks for some insight from the Department of Homeland Security.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, John, for your continued focus on ensuring preparedness in the business community. As you know, the Secretary of Homeland Security and Secretary Sebelius of HHS, along with our Secretary Locke at Commerce and the Small Business Administrator Mills, have all been out talking about the importance of business preparedness and in advance of this fall and winter flu season. You've seen them at press conferences for the release of the business guidance, which took place on August 19th. This business guidance was released in concert with guidance for the K through 12 education guidance, along with higher education guidance for the college and university community. Additionally, the Department of Homeland Security and our federal partners, along with our state and local government partners, have been working to conduct significant outreach over the last several months to encourage individuals, businesses, state and local officials, schools, and communities to prepare for the potential outbreak of H1N1 this fall. National Preparedness Month just finished, where the department and our emergency management and Homeland Security partners focused extensively on the importance of preparedness and community resilience. While we're seeing an uptick in cases across the country, we expect that to continue through the fall and winter, which requires all of the decision makers in our businesses and our communities to remain vigilant and work with their state and local health officials. One of the most important constituencies, and this survey plays that out as well, that can help us prevent the spread of the virus and reduce its impact is our nation's business community. Our nation's business leaders know that this health risk targets their employees, who are a major contributor to their economic success and the nation's well-being. So to be sure the business preparedness efforts are successful, this focuses on our health and safety of our workforce, the maintenance of operations of our supply chains, continuity of important services to communities and all levels of government, and protecting the health and safety of their employees and limiting the impact of a pandemic on our economy and society. As we know, advanced planning has been key to the successful efforts, and this survey shows that. Today, the Business Roundtable members are again illustrating their focus on this health threat and their commitment to national preparedness. The federal government has continued to post its resources and share the most up-to-date information with our partners through a number of different venues. We send out weekly email with the latest guidance. We also host, as necessary, conference calls and briefings, and you've also seen us post and direct constituencies to all the latest information at www.flu.gov. I would like to thank the Business Roundtable for their leadership and continued focus on this issue, and also recognize that the department